The WillCo Sports Power Hour features Williamson County High School athletics. The show is hosted by Charles Pulliam of the Williamson Herald and Garth Bolden of Gateway Tire and Service in Franklin. The live broadcast every week is brought to you by Tim Thompson Premier Realtors and aired on location at Tony's Eat and Drink in Franklin.
Again, this show, the WillCo Sports Power Hour, live every Monday night at Tony's Eat and Drink. Come on by. You could check out the live stream on the Williamson Herald Facebook page, as well as the Gateway Tire Facebook page. Later on tonight, the show will be posted on YouTube, on Spotify, and all other streaming services, so be sure to check that out. And if you can't make it, find the show and the recorded version on the Williamson Herald Facebook page. Again, some of our other sponsors out there: Stonegate Homes, Matthews Team Sports, Trucking for a Cure Tennessee, Southern Trophy, and John Mayer Builders. Before I get our first guests up here, too, I want to remind everyone to check out the Williamson Herald online. Our latest list of Tim Thompson performers, premier performers, includes all 5 sports currently going on. So be sure to check out that list. It is live on the Williamson Herald webpage, and it'll be in the newspaper on Thursday as well. We got golf, we got cross country, we got soccer, volleyball, and football players all recognized in that one. And another big shout out to our big feature coming up on Thursday. We're going to have our first John Mayer Builders Scholar Athletes of the school year coming on too. So be sure to pick up that paper, the Williamson Herald, on Thursday. Newsstands everywhere. So that'll be a fun one. Watch online as well. But let's get things started here. Of course, we're going to be talking volleyball to get things underway. If I can go Coach Alvarez to come on up real quick, we'll get things rolling here. Again, this is the WillCo Sports Power Hour live at Tony's Eat and Drink. Happy to have a friend come here in Coach Alvarez. Whatever's most comfortable for you, Coach. I know this is, hey, if this works.
Time.
Yeah? Okay, good. Well, great to see you, first off.
Too.
Tell us a little bit about the season so far. It's crazy. There's so much that has happened, and postseason's right around the corner here.
Yeah, so our season's been eventful for sure. We've been working a lot on improving our team chemistry, obviously our basics, serve, receive, serving. And the girls have done a really good job of just really maintaining focus on exactly that, improving their trajectory, improving how they face their opponents, maintaining composure. And it's definitely shown in their record. Their record is great. They are currently tied for second place in the overall record for our district. So they're in a good position going into the district tournament postseason.
Well, I think one thing we got to acknowledge here is the great crowd you brought here for BGA Volleyball. Great crowd here. Always fun to have such great support there. I know we're going to talk a lot about one of your seniors here, but let's chat a little bit about this team here. Tell us a little bit about some of the leaders you got this year.
Absolutely. So we have a really large senior class this year. We have 8 seniors who are contributing and who have been part of the program for a really long time, which has made a tremendous impact on our team chemistry for sure. So they've done a really wonderful job. As far as on the court, we've got, between Mallory Dobbs as our setter. We've got Joe Snyder on the outside. She's a sophomore. We have Lauren Atkins as a junior in the middle. And we have a great libero junior, Annie Harney, and senior DS Maddie James. Actually, they're all in attendance tonight. So there's your shout out, guys. And again, it's just really strong competitors, strong athletes, good kids overall, and they've done a wonderful job of just making this season go smoothly and just really work towards improvement. So,
well, I know one of the things about this time of year is you want to be peaking at that right time and coming around here. I know you got a nice mix of leadership, some young players there. Mm-hmm. Where is BGA Volleyball right now with that postseason looming?
Yeah, we are definitely hoping for that peak at the right time. I think if you look at our overall season, we have definitely been on an upward trajectory. We've started out where we had some inconsistencies going in. We have an Achilles heel in facing MTCS, and so we need to work to make sure that we're beating them at the right time, which I think we're all really hopeful and optimistic about as we continue to learn our opponents. So I do expect that they're going to peak at the perfectly right time, and they're going to have a great postseason game, and at the very least, they're going to have fun fighting for it. So
I like it. Well, I guess if you had to kind of describe this team, tell us, I guess maybe like the true identity or what makes this team so tough, that kind of thing. What's that identity for this group?
Honestly, just their commitment, I think, is the main thing that sticks out for me. They're committed, they show up, they respond, they apply, and it's been a very committed group from the get-go. They have strong leadership, like I mentioned, in that senior class. Mallory's been a tremendous leader, holding them accountable and, hyping them up. And it's just been something that we've worked towards in these last couple of years as we've kind of rebuilt with some younger players as well.
Well, you kind of mentioned the almost of a rebuilding of sorts here. Lots of these seniors here, I know, were part of some really successful teams that went on to win championships and play, right into that deep part of October there. But to have some of that experience leading the way this year, can you just talk about that really what that does for a team overall?
Yeah, it provides reference and it provides context. Like I've heard Mallory multiple times in practices mention how it is a tremendous feeling to get that reward and that payoff after putting in the hard work. When she sees her teammates maybe taking a lackadaisical approach at practice sometimes, she's reminded them, like, guys, I know that it's hard work. I know that we're showing up. It's really tough. But I promise you the payoff is sweet if we can just keep focusing on building and really work towards what we want. So,
going back to some of these players, some of this team here, you mentioned a young sophomore there and Miss Snyder, who's just another great performance from her last week. I mean, talk about some of the strengths you see from your hitters and someone like her too.
Yeah, Jo is just a tremendous power hitter. She is primarily a beach volleyball player, which gives her really great IQ as well. So she has come in and made a great impact for us as an outside. She's a primary outside, and she's playing. I have 2 6-rotation outsides this year, which is huge for our team. It just provides some good seamless play, and they're both really great in the back row. So I need to mention Gray Malone as well as another sophomore contributor. And yeah, they both have great shots. When they see the court, when Mal splits the block, it's really tough to defend them. So we've got a lot of potential in just scoring very high each game if they can be, if they can maintain that consistency.
Well, you mentioned Mallory here. So Mallory is our latest Stonegate Homes Heart of the Team Award winner. And I know when I sent this, the nomination essentially for you, it was without a question like, oh, I got one for you. And I know Mallory's been a part of this program for so long. I think of the family. I think of her older sister, Campbell, too. Mm-hmm. So many of the great supporters out here as well. I got to say hi to Grandpa. I know Mike's probably tuned in somewhere.
Absolutely.
When it comes to this senior setter and her versatility over her career, I mean, tell me a little bit about her growth and just what she's meant to this program.
Absolutely. Mallory has had such an interesting journey with BGA volleyball because, she had such great potential initially, and she started playing for varsity level as a freshman, but she was behind Kyra Hampton, who obviously is now at Virginia Tech as a setter and prospective setter in her future. And so it was a tough place to be. I mean, Mal had to sit the bench and kind of wait her turn. She trained her butt off, for lack of a better phrase, and she really worked hard in practice, and she was always given opportunities when they were available. And so I'm just really proud of her for kind of maintaining the patience that she needed. I think she needed to go through that to realize, like, how important her leadership is now that she has the opportunity to play and be the starter and be the contributor for the last 2 seasons. So I think it's just molded her to be a great leader. And I think it's been a very impressive trajectory for her because she's jumped in and just really made a huge impact.
Well, I think there's something to be said about the experience you get as maybe that freshman, sophomore, just being plugged into different situations. Like, I'm going to play here for a little while, play here. Obviously, it kind of turned into being that setter position. But when you have that experience and then you start leading an offense and distributing the ball, talk about what that experience does overall, because it just makes it that much easier to know what you want when you're on the outside and things like that, right?
Yes, absolutely. And for a setter, that's crucial. For a setter to be able to maintain composure, it means reaction off of every situation. I'm always telling my setters that your job is to better the ball. And that doesn't always mean it's easy. You're going to get balls that are, near impossible to play up, but it's still your job to better the ball. It's a great responsibility, and she does a fantastic job of that.
Well, I think we got to get Mallory up here as well, too.
Absolutely.
Coach, let's keep you up here, though, as well.
Okay.
But Mallory Dobbs, come on up here, please. Our latest Stonegate Homes Heart of the Team Award winner. Again, we're chatting with Coach Tatiana Alvarez and Mallory Dobbs. Yep, there's a mic for you. Welcome to the show. Happy to have both of you here. Careful with all the cords as we're moving around, too. I do apologize. But Mallory, tell us a little bit about the season and what Coach obviously said some good things there. Obviously, it's got to make you smile. But what's the year been like so far for you?
I think for us, it's more about just having fun this year because last year we kind of lacked, the composure part and the commitment. So I feel like this year we all came in with a new mindset. We have some new players like Maddie who have contributed a lot, and Annie going into the role of being a libero. And also Lauren being a middle now, I feel like having people just being able to step in and do their role consistently, I feel like that's what we've done so good this year. And I feel like that's helped.
That camaraderie, that kind of building off of one another and playing off of one another, what's, I guess, that from maybe a couple months ago to now, what's some of that strong stuff that you're seeing, especially with that postseason coming here now, too?
Definitely just leaning on each other. Whenever we have a rough game or somebody's off, I feel like we're always there for each other, just right behind each other, ready to pick each other up. We see somebody sad on the court or having not so good of a game, I feel like everybody's just right there with each other. Make each other laugh. I feel like that's what we do a good job of this year.
So, Coach, having her come up here, I mean, there's got to be a bunch of stuff coming to mind, and even just thinking of big plays and memories and things like that. But this is a good opportunity to maybe chat a little bit about this young lady here. And what are some standout things that really come to mind? Just a big memory, a big play of recent, something like that, because we got to talk a little bit about that career side here. But I'm giving you an opportunity to maybe just share a little bit about Mallory here.
Facetiously, I want to talk about her pancakes because she loves doing her pancakes right now. She's getting quite good at them, but sometimes it drives me a little bit crazy. No, but in all seriousness, I think where Mallory has and shows great potential is just an ability to run a very fast offense. And again, she's got some good parts to the offense this season. She mentioned that Lauren has moved to middle, and we also have a great sophomore middle, Hannah Gregg, and so we've done a lot to really try to bolster the speed that we have and the capability in our hitters. And Mal just does a good job of moving the ball around. She's very quick to react, like I mentioned earlier. She's got great footwork, and she gets to the ball no matter what. I mean, there's situations that seem near impossible for her to better, and she does. She will absolutely take care of the situation the best that she can. So she's just so reliable overall.
Well, when you hear something like that, Mallory, tell us, I guess, what that means to you to just kind of become what it's been like being one of the leaders and, of course, guiding the offense, all those things. Coach says wonderful things about you. I mean, just how's that make you feel?
I mean, good, of course, but I always feel like there's more I can do to better the team. Coming from last year, I mean, this was always my goal to be doing all these things, but I feel like taking a step back and focusing on myself and really the mental side of the game really helped me this year. So learning how to pick each other up, how to not get so down. I mean, all the simple things. I feel like it feels good that finally I know that my work is paying off a little bit. So, yeah.
Well, we chatted before you got up here a little bit about that. Just you've done everything for this team through the program. You've waited in line to do your current position here, too, behind some really stellar athletes. Tell us about your, I guess, the motivation and that drive, especially coming into this senior year, and just what it's been like for you.
I mean, obviously I've waited my turn behind Kyra, and just getting to watch her grow up in Sept and how she ran the offense and how she ran such a good team. I feel like having that senior class in front of me really meant a lot because, I mean, I looked up to them so much more than anybody can ever think of. Like, Kyra Hampton has definitely been my role model throughout this journey, but...
Well, with this year, tell us a couple moments that really kind of stand out. I know we're all about trying to peak at the right time. Coach kind of mentioned we're kind of there too, but like you even said, there's still things to be worked on. Where is the BGA volleyball team right now, and how excited are you for these next couple weeks?
Oh, I'm so excited. We just had a big district win against PCA, and I feel like showing out then It went to 5 sets. It was a long game, but I feel like we kind of showed ourselves like, oh, we're in this, like we can do this, and we're here to win. So that was a good confidence boost for us. So I feel like that'll set us off.
Coach, when you hear something like that, and again, I go back to that game, that was a big match. And as she said, the kind of confidence boost you need to be able to win a tough 5-setter at the same time. What do you see from the girls in that performance?
The main thing I saw was just the resilience factor. And I think that's the piece that at times we've been inconsistent early in the season for. So I was really just happy for them ultimately, because I feel like our coaching staff, which is honestly one of the best coaching staffs that we have in this area, and we all agree that these kids can do this, and there's no doubt in our minds. So we were just really stoked for the girls to be able to have this tangible proof in their face that they are absolutely in this. You know, they're competing against the defending state champion. They themselves come from a state championship program. Like, they have what it takes. They have the heart. They have the culture. They have all of the pieces that they need. And now it's just time to execute. And we just hope that it works out for them the way that, you know, we've seen them work for. And I really hope that these next couple weeks is just a great payoff for them.
Mallory, kind of describe that culture that's kind of developed, especially over your career. I mean, you think about when you were coming in here, playing for state championships, and we're working our way back to that kind of setting. Tell us, I guess, just the culture that these coaches have established at BGA for the volleyball program.
Just always being there for extra reps. I mean, again, like Tatiana said at the beginning, I've never been a part of a team that's more committed than this team. Everybody's really in it, and I feel like the coaching staff is so willing to help us, staying after, staying before, coming in on weekends. I feel like they're so flexible, and they want to see us do as good as we can as much as we do, and I feel like that really helps a lot.
We got some gym rats here then, huh, Coach?
Oh, absolutely. And a future gym rat at that.
Well, thinking of, I guess, what's next? There's a Columbia Academy, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yes, our last district match is this Thursday at Columbia Academy, and then we will have our seeding determined by Friday after all of those wrap up, and we'll see how we get placed for the tournament play in the following week.
Mallory, what has to happen to find some success against Columbia Academy and really end that regular season on a high note?
Staying composed, because no matter who the opponent is, good or bad, it does not matter. We have to stay at our level, and I feel like that's something that we need to improve and work on going forward, is just not doing a roller coaster, just staying composed and consistent throughout the whole entire game.
An opportunity for you here, Mallory. So part of this award, obviously, is just kind of recognizing a leadership, someone who puts in all the extra work across the board. And Stonegate Homes has been such a great partner for us in this, for the WillCo Sports Power and the Williamson Herald. But as a senior, I want to give the opportunity for you to maybe pass along some advice. I mean, what does it take to kind of become a leader, and what would you say maybe to yourself as a freshman even?
Be patient, definitely. Like Tatiana said, it took a little while to get here, and it's been a lot of ups and a whole bunch of downs, but not getting too upset and knowing in the end that it's all going to be okay, and if you're putting in the hard work, it's not going to go unnoticed at all, especially at BGA. Like, it's going to be seen.
Coach, I think there's something to be said about a program-style kid like this. I mean, someone who's worked their way up, played a lot of different positions, and now is just embraced that leadership role. Thinking of this Heart of the Team award and what that kind of means, can you just kind of describe what Mallory's been like for this team and just how cool it is to kind of see her success, especially as a senior?
Again, she's bringing that experience and that history along with her, and just the depth of her knowledge about volleyball and the passion that she has about volleyball. The ups and the downs. She's been open, she's been vulnerable, she's been honest. And on top of it all, like, just this season, she was from the get-go communicating with me about how it was one of her goals to truly be seen as a leader, to be the anchor for the team. And, we do actually a peer-voted captain's questionnaire at the beginning of the season. Coaches do not, influence the girls in any way. They are just answering specific questions based on leadership. And she was, bar none, voted as the captain. And so that just speaks volumes to what the intentions that were set for herself in the season and how she executed in the preseason and how her team now perceives her and relies on her as such. So it's just a great thing to see that she's grown so much over the years as a player, as a contributor, as a bench player, as now a starter, and now very much a leader.
Well, last thing, really thinking about this, Mallory, I want to know a little bit as a senior. I mean, tell us what's on the horizon. What's next for you? And I don't want to jump too much. Coach might be not even liking to talk about this, but come May, beyond, tell us about your future plans.
I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do yet. Oh my gosh, this has been like a big question that everybody's asked, and I just don't know the answer to yet.
I'm sorry to add to it.
No. It's great. Of course, I think I've made the decision that I do want to try to play in college. So seeing where I can go with that, because I mean, I've been playing the sport since I was little. I just don't think like I could let it go. So I think I'm gonna be able to try to play in college and get myself out there. And yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Coach, do you want to maybe say something about Mallory's potential at that next level and what she might bring to a college program?
I think she can strive in whatever role she decides, whether she wants to play for an actual, divisional program, or she wants to go club, or you want to just play for the rest of your life, however you want. You will be just a great asset. So it's really no pressure about that for Mal. Like she said earlier, it's been ups and downs on her journey as far as like club volleyball and high school ball. And so it's been so cool to see her mature through the process of really understanding herself and what she wants. And so I'm not surprised at all that you're still in this, like, I don't know, but I'm willing and hopeful and optimistic. And certainly the decision that she makes for herself is going to be the right one. So.
Oh, such an exciting time, obviously, there, too. Mallory, last comment for you, thinking about what has to happen this week into next week. What do these girls need to do to keep BGA season rolling?
We have a lot of practice time, so I think going back on matches, seeing what we need to improve on, working on that, and really using every single practice. And, I mean, just doing what we know how to do, being confident in our play, because we are an amazing team. We have such amazing players, and I'm so excited to see where we go. And I'm really excited, just using our practice time wisely.
Well, that's part of this time of year, too. You actually get to practice. There's so much chaos in the first month or two of the season. You're going to tournaments, things like that, so a little more time. Well, we are excited to see the rest of the season for you, too, especially, and for this team here. Thank you so much for coming on the WillCo Sports Power. I got a plaque for you here, if you don't mind. Again, everybody, Mallory Dobbs, a senior here for Battleground Academy, and our latest Stonegate Homes Heart of the Team Award winner. Thank you both.
Thank you for having us.
This is the WillCo Sports Power Hour live at Tony's Eat and Drink. Happy to have our first guests here, Coach Alvarez and Mallory Dobbs. This is brought to you by Tim Thompson, Premier Realtors, Gateway Tire and Service, Toyota Cool Springs, and Stonegate Homes. So happy to have our supporters out there. We're going to trek into some cross country now. And if I could bring up our latest Gateway Tire Female Athlete of the Week in Sienna Anderson. Thank you. Sienna of Summit High School. Gosh, welcome to the show. First off, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
We got the rundown, right? You got to see what it was like prior, and I know Coach was busy tonight, so we just get to chat a little bit. Tell me about this season so far, because obviously I think you've had some drastic improvements, and you've become one of the top runners in Class AAA. I mean, just what's it been like for you?
Well, this season has been pretty good so far. I had a really good race. The first one, I was not like exactly where I wanted to be, but then the next race I got a like massive PR, and I knew I could do it. I knew I had it in me. It was mostly like the mental part, not really the physical, because I pushed so much during the summer, like just trying to get to like that spot, and I don't know, it just came through, and I finally started getting those big PRs, and now I'm currently ranked like 10th in the state, so it's pretty exciting.
The build-up, let's chat a little bit about what that extra work's kind of been like, because, for an example, going back, this was the Voiles Classic, where I was thinking that was a school record one, right? 18 minutes, 10.10 seconds. I mean, just a fantastic time. And I know Voiles can be one of those spots. There's a lot of great times, a lot of great runs out of that, but that was a big-time performance for you. Take us back to that in particular, and just what was kind of going right and how you were feeling that out, because 18-10-10 is a number to be reckoned with in the state.
Well, yeah, that time, well, it came to like a lot of practice beforehand and just like knowing what I wanted to do at that race, because beforehand I knew all like the Brentwood girls and what their times were and what they've been hitting and what their like goals were, and I knew what I wanted to hit and what I could hit and what I had the ability to get to, and so I just pushed myself to what I like knew I could do, and just never let go of that like mental like game that is the most part of running is the mental part, not really the physical, but just working on that mental part of just getting to that race and just knowing like where I had to push and where I had to like coast and where I had to like take over the certain spots and like just knowing how to get through that certain race.
So some of that has to just be experience year over year, right? I mean, just coming back, being familiar with some courses, things like that. But I think something has to be said about some of this off-season work, because, you know, we're seeing times where you're shaving off a minute plus on some of these, and those are, you know, you're used to seeing some improvements, but these are some big-time strides here. So tell us about, I guess, coming out of last year, going through the summer, and just entering this year and just kind of becoming, you know, it seems ultra motivated, ultra focused to get a little better.
Yeah, well, coming out of last cross-country season in my sophomore year, I think I was ranked 52nd in the state, and that's where I like saw my like potential, and I knew I could do better like than what I did, and I knew I could like continue improving. So throughout like the off season, like through the winter, I kept like upping my mileage. I got like probably 25 miles a week per week for during the winter time, and then came track season, and I started pushing myself, and I got a school record there, and I saw like my potential keep growing, and I was like, well, if I can do that here, then I can do even better. So I started doing doubles every day. I did track practice, and then I did do another run, and then I got up to doing about 30 miles a week consistently, like before season, just doing all my work, all my long runs, all my hard runs. It was a lot of work and a lot of like days where I was like, oh, I really don't want to do this, but I knew it would like help me in the long run. So I think that's a lot of what helped me get to this place.
I see. Well, thinking of this season, where we are right now, I know you got a couple good meets under your belt, but thinking, you had mentioned a Brentwood team. I mean, those girls are right at the top, been the defending champs for a long time. Within Williamson County, being one of those faces competing and seeing the Banavacs and everybody out there all the time, just tell us about Class AAA in Williamson County and that competition alone, just here locally.
Yeah, the competition here locally is actually like the most crazy part about this, because if you go to like one section over, like the times there compared to what our times are for our like regional meets are like so drastically different. Like, yes, there is girls that are like doing amazing there, but like the level of competition that is in Williamson County just alone is actually insane. And I think it actually helps me push harder, because if I didn't have as much competition, I wouldn't be wanting to strive for the better, because I wouldn't have to strive for the better.
I see. You know, Coach Stevenson actually had said something about having maybe a great teammate in Lorelei as well. Yes, here. Lorelei. Can you talk about how maybe you guys are feeding off of one another, because she's another young runner here coming in and is right there with you in terms of being in that top 10 for the state here. Tell us about how you guys are feeding off of one another.
Yeah, it's awesome to have Lorelei as a team member. I mean, she's so great. She's awesome. She's a freshman this year, which is actually insane, because like I couldn't imagine being that fast when I was a freshman, but I'm just so lucky to have her, because like during practices we get to like push each other, and like so we'd have someone else that's that same pace, because usually and I'm used to running with all the guys in high school. So like her coming up and having me and I having her now, it makes it so much better, just like to be able to practice with her and have a teammate that you can like become close with and like continue to grow with her.
I see. And there's just something about having that, you know, another strong teammate to build off, and I think you covered that really well. Well, what's next? What's the big meet coming up here? And, well, actually, before that, let's actually go back. It was the Southern Showcase, I think, most recently here, right?
I had Henry Horton.
Oh, that's right. All right. Well, going back, recognizing you, I think it was through the Southern Showcase, which is pretty special here. That meet alone brings in so many teams, schools, states, you name it. What was that atmosphere kind of like? Because you're competing against not only some of the best within the state of Tennessee, but Georgia, Kentucky, Florida, you name it. They call it the Southeast Showcase for a reason. That's pretty special.
Yeah, it was really exciting to get to race there. Usually we do the meet at Jesse Owens Park in Alabama, but this year we wanted to try out this meet. It was kind of cool getting to see all the different teams from all the different states and stuff, and it was definitely nerve-wracking because it's such a big meet. There's I think there's 240 girls in that race alone, and just getting out there, pushing hard, and for the first about mile, me and Lorelai were leading the pack, so that was kind of cool to be able to do with her. So
when you end up being in front like that, just talk about that, because that's almost it probably takes you a little bit out of your routine, knowing that you're the one everybody's chasing, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's definitely a lot harder to lead a pack like that rather than pacing off the girls in front of you, which is what I'm normally used to. But leading it like that definitely got us out there and got us separated from the second pack. There's usually a first pack and then the secondary pack. But yeah, it was nice to get to push them, because it instills a little bit of fear in you to I don't know, have someone in front of you and be like, whoa, they're going pretty fast, I gotta catch up. So it's nice to have that separation that comes with leading like that.
I see. Well, going back to that prior question, again, chatting with Sienna Anderson of Summit High School here. What's next here? Tell us about some of the things on the horizon, because I know we just chatted with BGA volleyball, and we're going to chat football here too, but some of these sports, we're getting in that postseason. We're seeing some things having to happen, but tell us what's on the horizon for you and for Summit.
Well, hopefully we'll get a couple of girls to state this year. I want to get our team, but we'll see how it goes with injuries and stuff comes with cross country. So we're trying to work on those. Hopefully as the season closes, I want to keep improving during the off season. I want to keep pushing hard and not lose the dedication that I've put into this. So I want to keep it improving throughout, and then get into track season and hopefully kick it there too. Well,
you mentioned, just thinking of stateside and the experience of being on that state competition in October. It's coming up quick here, but just having that experience, if you get back to that stage, what's that going to do for you in terms of just knowing what that's like?
Well, I think knowing what it's like at states definitely has the benefit for me, because compared to my teammate Lorelai, she hasn't ran at the state meet before, so she doesn't quite know what it's going to be like. But I'm glad I'm going to be able to go there, because I'll get to know where the turns are and where the hills are and where the parts that I might not want to push are, but I know I have to. So it's nice to know where I'm going during the race, not only physically but mentally.
I like it. Sienna, this has been a fantastic thing. I know, so my wife is watching, I know, and she comes from a running family. I know my in-laws are watching as well, too. But when you think of running and some advice, I'm doing 5Ks and 10Ks. My wife's trying to do ultras now, so we're getting into those 50 milers, just crazy stuff. But when you think of maybe some advice, what would you say about you just working on your times and staying consistent, things like that, and being able to lower times like the way you have?
Yeah, well, a lot of it is just putting in the work, putting in the time, just constantly working your way up, and not expecting to get the perfect times right away. Because my first race, I was hoping to get around the low 18s I did, but I only got a 19:30, so that was a little bit disappointing. But I was glad I did that, because I knew I couldn't do just a radical 2-minute switch, But doing the slowly increments, pushing myself slowly each week. Each week we do track workouts, and each time he has us up the pace each day, each time we do them. So that helps a lot.
I like it. Well, Is there anything else you'd like to add or mention about this season so far and what's coming up for you and the team?
I don't know. I mean, I just say keep an eye out because I think Summit's going to come up in state pretty high up. So I think we're going to do pretty good.
Oh, I'm excited for you. I think you've put some teams and some people on notice already because your drastic improvements, and now it's a top 10 time. That's pretty special. It's got to feel good. Well, Sienna, I got to say congratulations. Thank you so much for coming on as well too. I have a plaque for you here as well too as our latest Gateway Tire Female Athlete of the Week. Congratulations, all right?
Thank you.
Everyone, Sienna Anderson of Summit High School, a cross-country star there for the Spartans. We're live here at Tony's Eat and Drink in Franklin. We got two more guests we're going to chat with here a little bit. Quick shout-out to our sponsors here, the WillCo Sports Power Hour, brought to you by John Mayer Builders, Southern Trophy, Trucking for a Cure, Tennessee, and Matthews Team Sports. We're going to do a little shift and talk a little more football here next at Tony's Eat and Drink. I think I got Coach Martin here. If I can get Coach Ingle to come on up, and we'll get things started and chat some CPA football here with the defending state champs, unbeaten top-ranked team in Division II AA in the house here tonight, the CPA Lions football team. Again, for those folks that aren't here at Tony's Eat and Drink, you can check us out on Facebook. We are on the Williamson Herald. We'll start with Coach, and then we'll bring up Rawls in a little bit here, too. Again, you can follow us on Facebook. Check out the Williamson Herald and the Gateway Tire Facebook pages. Be sure to check back on YouTube and Spotify as well. But, Coach Ingle Martin, thank you so much for taking the time and coming in. Coach, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Glad to be here.
When it comes to this season, just having the opportunity to chat with you, Coach, we're coming off a big win. We got to go right back to it. We just chatted with the BGA volleyball team, so I know we got some BGA fans in the house here, but let's go back to Thursday and week, that big win for you guys, middle region stuff. We've always talked about it with you. You schedule tough to play tough in the region play. How big was that game for you guys against BGA?
Yeah, I think obviously for us trying to get to 2-0 was the goal. They have had a great season so far, so we knew it was going to be a good game. I think we got a couple breaks there early, and we're able to hang with them. And then obviously second half made a few big plays, and we're able to put the game away.
When it comes to that matchup, I mean, there was so much going into it. A lot of us media folks, of course, always amp things up to try to talk a little more about it. But to have two 4-0 teams coming in, BGA's got, new coach and Bobby Bentley, a lot of talent there, and a lot of offensive prowess a little bit, too. Talk about your defense and what you guys were able to do to slow a tough Wildcats team like that.
Yeah, I think the defense played great. The last 2 weeks against NBA and then BGA both kind of were marked by big fourth down stops. And, defensive coaches Trey Adams and Cole Smith took over as our play callers this year, kind of co-defensive coordinators. The two of them done a tremendous job kind of following in Ryan Taylor's footsteps, but the kids executed. They're playing hard, and when we needed the plays, they were there to make them.
This team, for so many years, we've had the opportunity to follow you in this program. I think this is year 14 or 15 for you. 14,
yeah,
right?
14.
Well, sorry to put a number on it,
yeah,
Coach, but
yeah.
but thinking of building year after year in this last one. What's that do for a team to make those deep postseason runs where you almost get an extra season, an extra, 4 or 5 weeks as a group because you guys get to build off of that? And we've seen that year after year now. How big is that for this program?
Well, I think when you're adding 20 games over a 4-year span to a kid's career, obviously you get a lot more opportunities to get better. And so I think what we found is having 4 or 5 extra weeks of practice goes a long way for those younger players. And I think this year's a great example with our two tackles, Isaiah and Skylar. And the two of them have played great, and a lot of it was because they were on our scout team as freshmen, getting all those reps against a really good defense last year. And so, I think we're very fortunate. We've been blessed, got unbelievable coaches, and been blessed with a lot of good families like the Pattersons who keep sending their children to CPA. Kane is over there, and his wife Ashley, and they actually are pregnant, and They got a boy coming in January, so we already got him signed up. He's going to be wearing number 4 here in a couple years.
Oh, I like it. Well, we chatted about, entering 14th year here, and now it makes me feel a little older knowing we got another one coming here at the same time. But it seems like my whole time within Williamson County and covering for the Williamson Herald, we've seen a Patterson here too. So you talked about this family, for example. What's it like just having, guys like that coming, and now we got more down the gauntlet here too?
Yeah, I think it just speaks a lot, I think, for what the school really has been about since 1985. I think we're extremely blessed having families that believe in the mission of what the school's trying to do to their for their children beyond anything athletically or academically. And I think the Pattersons are a great example of that. They've really lived out the mission of the school with their 4 children, and being able to coach Rawls and Pep this year and watching the two of them kind of actually step into leadership roles, getting the chance to actually have the ball in meaningful moments. Pep made a huge stop in the game Thursday night, one of the best plays that I've seen a linebacker make, to not only do it, but then to stop him and drive the guy backwards. And so the two of them, it's been really fun to coach. And then there's some healthy sibling rivalry there where,
probably pretty easy to build on, right?
The siblings, Langston and Kane both, I think, feel like that they had the better careers and they had the better teams. And so now to add Pep and Rawls, I think's been fun to listen to.
Just that camaraderie alone within the families, within the team, it's got to be a blast to be around. Coach, let's talk, before we talk specifically about Rawls, our latest Gateway Tire Male Athlete of the Week. Tell us a little more about this team. Some guys that we've been hearing about, some guys that you're very proud about and how they've stepped up. What are some of the guys, some of the leaders of this group that we need to know about?
Well, I think anybody that talks about our team is going to talk about Brady Smith and Hudson Chance. The two of them, especially for us on offense, have been great leaders for their time in our program. Brady's a 3-year starter. His sophomore year played every snap on offense and defense for us at nose guard and center. And now Huddy's gotten a chance to kind of have the ship be his own. And he certainly made the most of it playing quarterback for us. He's a great leader, a great encourager to his teammates. And he's somebody that I think makes everyone around him a lot better. And so the two of them have been a blast to coach. Brady is making probably the best decision of anyone. He's going to Furman to play football next year. So we're excited about adding another Paladin to the long line of CPA Lions. That goes back to all the guys that I played with at Furman, all went to CPA back out of the 2001 graduating class. So pretty wild. And then defensively, a guy like Weston Parker, Brock Bedingfield playing D-line. Weston's playing secondary, has done an amazing job. Steele Chance at inside linebacker was our leading tackler last year. He's doing the same thing again this year. Just a great high school football player, tough nosed, hard playing kid. But yeah, we've had a lot of guys that haven't had a chance to play, step in and play well. Austin Hodges at corner. Mm-hmm. This is his first year starting. Max Sherrod, defensive line, first year starter, done a great job. Noah Luchin, first year starter. I mean, we got a lot of guys who kind of paid their time, paid their dues, and are now getting to step into it. And that's the fun part about building a program where you have kids that are in the program for 4 years. They wait till their senior year. They're ready to go. It's been really fun to watch.
That constant building, that mix of younger players getting a lot of opportunity. We're just talking about a younger brother here too at that same kind of thing. We see that every year. It's really special to see, and it's just got to be a lot of fun to be a part of, Coach.
Yeah, it sure has been, and especially when you have kids that are giving up things to come be a part of it, and then kids that are missing things that they're trying to pursue in college. Brock's going to play college baseball. Huddy's going to play college baseball, and they're still choosing to come out and spend time with their friends on the football field and making memories.
Seems like we actually kind of have almost a trend of sorts of having so many baseball guys on the team here too.
Yep.
But hey, they're filling springtime. You get them in the fall, it works out pretty well.
Yeah,
huh?
no doubt. Works out great.
Well, being top-ranked D2 AA, the defending state champs, all that, I mean, you guys have always had that target on your back here as kind of that standard within the league here. handling that pressure, getting these guys lined up the way you have to, things like that. Can you just talk about how how the team manages that and what it's like seeing these young men go out and handle that kind of pressure too?
Well, I think for me, going on year 14, every year is unique. So we don't really look at the past as setting a bar. We believe God brought the 112 kids He brought to us this year for a reason, and our job is to get the most out of them that we can. So for me as a football coach and all the other coaches that coach with me, whatever that looks like, we want to squeeze as much as we can out of it. We believe that they only really are in control of two things: their effort and their attitude. The rest of it's up to God. So being blessed with a lot of good teammates who can play football, being blessed with a lot of good luck on certain things, however you want to spin it, we just are really worried about the 2024 team this year, given they're all learning how to play for each other, learning to be a part of something bigger than themselves, and then the byproduct is, we get to go play football. And I think the kids have really embraced that, and this year has been just as fun as all the other ones.
Well, before we get your junior coming up here a little bit, let's go back to where he got recognized for this award. And you mentioned that big win against NBA, a great defensive performance. And this young man, Rawls, decided to, he got plenty of opportunities handing the ball off to this guy. He scores 3 touchdowns, racks up more than 180 yards. When you, night in and night out, you could do that all the time, but I'm thinking against the BGA game, you might have had 7 different ball carriers there. With Rawls kind of anchoring, and finishing off behind that great offensive line play a couple weeks ago, just kind of expand on his performance in that game, because that was a big one.
Well, I think the kind of the hallmark moment so far of the season was the defense having another 4th down stop at the 1 yard line. So we get the ball with 99 to go, and I didn't even think about calling a pass play the entire drive because of the way the offensive line was blocking and the way that Rawls was finishing all of his runs. He's really gifted. He's got everything that a running back needs to be successful, and then he's got all the stuff that you don't see. He's got heart. He's got grit. He works his tail off. He believes that he's just a part of something bigger than himself, which is awesome because he's a very selfless player. He understands that there's more to it than just him getting carries, and that's what makes him special. And the cool thing is, again, watching him kind of step into the leadership role, the role of somebody that is going to bring along all these younger players. And this is the first time for me. I've got one of my own children on the team. My son's a freshman, and so I was telling him on the car ride over here that he's watching him. And it means a lot to me as a dad to know the way that Rawls is leading, that my own son's getting to kind of benefit from his leadership style. So it's been a lot of fun. He's going to play college football and do an amazing job somewhere. But we're thankful he's with us for the rest of this year and next year.
I tell you, it's like we've been chatting around. We got Kane here. It's almost like we're going back in time and chatting out about him, too, because all these brothers, we could say a lot of that same kind of selfless play and that leadership and finding that role. Well, I think we need to get Rawls to come up here and join us as well. Coach, you're welcome to stick around, too. But let's have Rawls Patterson join us of Christ Presbyterian Academy, our latest Gateway Tire Male Athlete of the Week. Come on up here, young man. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Having you here, Rawls. I know we're coming off a couple big wins here, and it's kind of fun, too, because, having the opportunity to talk with Coach Ingle Martin here about this program, about this team, and then I've been talking to your brothers for a while here, too, man. Let's go into the family side first, man. Tell us a little bit about just growing up football here, man. I mean, you got brothers that went on to play. You got these this great opportunity too, man. What's home life here?
I mean, I've definitely grown up in and around the game, so it's been awesome. I appreciate watching how hard they work for the game that they love and how hard they push the people around them to be. So it's really made me be able to want to work as hard as I can and be as good as I can.
Well, I think they're great examples to kind of go off here, too. But Coach kind of mentioned how you've embraced a little more of a leadership role of sorts a little bit. Tell us about this season and being one of those juniors coming in and kind of taking a leading role a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, being able to watch the people that he mentioned, like Huddy and Brady Smith, is watching them work as juniors and how hard they push people. It's kind of made me see what I want to be in when I'm a junior and going into my junior year during the season.
Well, with that start here, I mean, to be 5-0, to pick up a big win just this last week against BGA. Just tell us where the team is right now in terms of we're right at that midseason, that checkpoint here a little bit. Where's CPA football at?
I mean, CPA football's doing all that they can. I mean, we've played 5 of our best opponents that we'll play all year, so it's been good to see where we know we can be at and what we can do, so it's been fun.
Thinking of maybe that mid-season grade of sorts, this was something I was going to chat with Coach a little bit about. I'll talk to you about when you think of maybe what we've seen from these first 5 weeks from building into this. What would you say, I guess, are the strongest points about this CPA team? And then secondary, what do we need to work on?
I think the biggest thing for us, honestly, is how we've protected the ball. I mean, I don't really remember any turnovers that we've had, and I think that's the biggest part of our game that's doing the best right now. And then there's always a lot of things you can talk about working on. Doesn't matter how good you're playing. There's always something that you can work on.
I'm sure Coach will find plenty all the time too, right?
Always,
yeah.
yeah.
Always something more, right?
Yeah.
Thinking of let's go back to this game against Montgomery Bell Academy. It's a 34-7 win for you guys. You end up carrying the ball, I think 21, 22 times, racking up lots of yards. First thing Coach said was you credit the offensive line here. Tell us about that offensive line and what they were doing for you to open up holes.
I mean, the biggest thing on our offensive line is we lost pretty much everybody except one starting lineman left, our seniors last year. So bringing in 4 new peoples, I mean, our coaches did as good of a job as you can have, and I think our line's the best in the state. I wouldn't take anybody, to be honest. And we have 2 sophomores starting at both tackles, so it's awesome to see them work.
3 touchdowns that night. I know that matched, I think, a career best in terms of scoring on the ground a little bit for you. What was going right for you? What was going through your mind? Because, I mean, that's a lot of work. That was a heavy workload night for you.
I mean, it's any running back's dream to only have to make 1 cut to get the end zone. So our line opening up holes for our running backs, me and Dylan, to just have to beat 1 or 2 guys is as good as it gets.
You kind of talked a little bit about having some young guys, especially on the line, come in here, and year in and year out, CPA's always been that cream of the crop here, and of course coming off a state championship too. Tell me a little bit about that process of kind of coming up, because you're one of those guys that got to play right from the start, essentially. I know your brother's doing the same thing here. How does CPA kind of keep it going and keep building and stay near the top, if not at the top?
CPA does a good job of keeping freshmen involved, keeping them with their minds focused in practice and keeping them involved. So ultimately, when they do get in when they're younger or even their junior year, they're ready and they know what to do, and it helps a lot.
Coach Martin, he's the one who said it a couple times. He dated himself going back, I think he said 2001 at one point, and, he's been doing this a while. But tell us about him and that staff and just what they bring and what it's like playing for such, veteran leaders in high school football.
I mean, I think everybody knows you couldn't ask for better coaches to be around, not just their football knowledge, but who they're forming us to be great husbands, great fathers, and showing us it's more important than how you do on a Friday night or in a game.
Tell me about what it's like playing with your younger brother this year, who keeps making some big plays on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, what's that camaraderie been like?
I mean, there's nothing more fun than playing with your brother. Even though we're not on the same side of the ball, it's awesome to take a break and be able to watch him do his thing and how good he's done this year. It's really fun.
What do you think, I guess, when you're building off of one another, obviously being a little more on the offensive side, his being on that defensive side, but tell me about the camaraderie that you guys share and how you push one another, because there's got to be a lot of that constant competition.
I mean, sometimes we'll talk about what the running back's going to do or what the linebacker's going to do, because from a linebacker standpoint, he knows what they're thinking, what they're looking at the guards, what they're going to do, and from a running back standpoint, I know what cuts they're going to make. So it's honestly kind of fun to be able to say what we think's going to happen or what the running back's going to see.
Let's see. Well, what would you say, I guess, thinking of his play this year, what are some things that kind of stand out, and how would you describe him?
I think how his pursuit has really changed. Him and Steele, our other linebacker, how they pursue the ball and every play, don't stop. I think that's the biggest thing for our team is how you miss the play, coming back around, you make it from the backside. So it's pretty cool to watch how hard And that's really a thing in practice that we focus on is your pursuit to the ball, and I think that's ultimately what wins us games.
That's a nice way to say that. I mean, you could say something like he needs to work on this just because he's your brother. You're welcome to do those kind of things. What's something he has to be working on, you think?
I'll speak on one thing for him running the ball. I'll talk about offense because it's my side. He needs to hold that ball under the chin and just put the head down and keep going. None of the little running outside, take it up the middle.
I like it. That's well said, right? I mean, I know your older brother's here as well too. Tell he's got a young one on the way at the same time too. What's that like, seeing the family growing a little more here?
I mean, that's the best news you can ever get, is that you're going to be an uncle to. I mean, then to hear it's a son, it's the coolest thing ever. So there's nothing more exciting than that.
Well, I got you here. It's been a great conversation here with Rawls Patterson, the junior for CPA, but thinking about what's next here. I mean, we're at that midway point. Obviously, we're unbeaten. We're the defending state champs. All these things are there. Tell us what's got to happen next week. What's happening on Friday? How do you keep building? How do you keep this ship going the way it's going?
I mean, I think you just got to think about your opponent that you're taking on each week. You can't think about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the road. You got to focus on who you're playing and, focus on playing to their weaknesses to beat them.
Now, this is our third season here at Tony's Eat and Drink, and I think I've talked to Coach a bunch of times about trying to get him on here. Obviously, it's a busy guy, and he's doing a lot of things, but this was a big deal to get you guys here as our first CPA football guys. I want to know a little bit about just the opportunity of this, too. So thinking of Coach Martin here, give me a coach-ism. Like, what's he always saying? He's been doing this a while. What's a constant thing that he's always saying to the guys, or what's something that what's a story you might say? He's over there. Don't worry about what he's going to be doing after this or anything like that. There's no repercussions, right, Coach? Yeah. See, he shook his head there. So give us a couple fun Coach Martin stories.
I think the biggest thing that he says is it's about ourselves, which is 100% true. If you can't play against yourselves, think about what you're going to be doing. Focus in on it, not the night before, not 2 nights before, but the whole week before. That's how you. And I think there's a few stories that I could share, but I don't know if I'm gonna.
I got you. That was well stated. That's gonna make them all smile. You sure you don't want to go in on any of those? Any detail?
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Okay. Well, that's good because we're gonna have that opportunity. I think. Right? Yeah. Well. This coming week, break down the game for us. Give us a little scouting report on what's going to happen it's Friday, right? Yeah.
Friday.
Tell us what's going to happen for the CPA team on Friday.
We just got to play our game and focus on the little things, ball security, not jumping off sides, just penalties, keep away from that. And I think just playing to our strengths, been doing what we've been doing for 5 weeks this year is the biggest goal for us.
Looking forward to seeing you guys keep this going. Rawls, I got to say, it's been a lot of fun having you here. It's great to be able to recognize the family, of course, too. Maybe we should bring a story up here, actually. This is a good opportunity. We got a little bit more time here. Your brother's here. He'll give you some stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah. He doesn't have to worry about that. Come on up, Kane. I got an extra mic for you. Let's have you slide over here, and you guys share that mic, actually. That might be the thing to do. Pretty neat to have both of you here. Kane, how's it going, man?
Good, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. Congratulations, first off, man. I didn't realize you were going to be a new dad coming in here.
Definitely feeling old these days.
Feeling old, wow. Well, give us a little story about seeing this guy and what he's been doing so far this season, because Rawls is carrying the ball with these. We're recognizing him from scoring 3 touchdowns against NBA in a big win. What have you seen from your younger brother?
Yeah, definitely just super proud of him. I mean, he's been working so hard for so long, and he's watched just me and Langston do our thing. So it makes us just, no prouder just to watch him do his thing. And, I mean, what people don't understand is what he does off the field. I mean, he works so hard. I mean, he's in the back barn behind our house till 9 o'clock at night just doing abs, get some curls in. I mean, he's just always just getting all the work in that nobody sees. And then also just his humility, just talking to him after the game. Of course, he's excited because football's a fun sport and you work so hard. But, I mean, he's always just encouraging everybody else and telling everybody else how good they did. So just couldn't be more proud of him and what he's done.
Rawls, having someone like Kane come up here and learning from him growing up a little bit too. Tell me a little bit about what it was like having an older brother like him and the success and kind of following that up.
I mean, everything that I've done and been able to accomplish is because watching him do his thing, how hard he worked and how much he loved his teammates, his coaches. So I don't think I would be able to do any of the things that I've done if I didn't have that good of an influence on me from when I was younger.
Langston too, though, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
But Kane was first. So.
Kane, tell us, I guess, seeing this, being the older brother here and watching everybody make impact, and I know you started right from the start there too. Just what's that prideful feeling kind of like watching them find success?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, none of it starts without Coach Martin. I looked at a lot of high schools and schools go to back in the day, and when I met Coach Martin, it was a done deal. I mean, there's no better man. He's turned me into the man I am today, him and my dad, and just teaching us hard work and getting after me from time to time, too, and I was messing around. You definitely feel a little arrogant every now and then. He makes sure to straighten you out. So Coach Martin's like family to us, and I don't think any of us would be where we are today without him.
That is well stated. I know he's been doing this a long time and just being, a great mentor and coach on top of that and beyond, too. So as soon as you graduate, it doesn't mean he's not part of your lives anymore, right?
No, he texts me go turkey hunting every year. I mean, what head coach does that?
Well, you got to give us some a Coach Martin-ism. I mean, something. I mean, you don't have to worry about any repercussions whatsoever. There's got to be something kind of fun out there. What's a Coach Martin story?
I got to think for a second. I'm getting old. I mean, I've been out of it for a little bit, but, I mean, like Rawls was saying earlier, just like always just talking about like football is just a tool and just use it the best you can and just use the abilities God's given you the best you can and then just translate that into whatever you're doing one day in your life. Like I got a job one day and the work ethic that Coach Martin taught me is just like still going to what I'm doing today, but he always say, get your butt on the ball. So, I mean, making sure we're lined up. So, yeah.
I think I've heard that, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rawls, one more question for you, man. I mean, it's got to feel pretty cool being able to share a fun evening like this with your fam. Thinking of building a little bit and having maybe even imparting some advice here. I should be asking older brother about advice, but I want you to maybe pass some along to your other younger brother or maybe younger players stepping in. What would you say about just having that motivation and working hard? And like your brother said, you're doing so much out of the spotlight to improve and get better like that. What advice do you have for our younger athletes out there?
I mean, just keep grinding, keep doing your thing, keep going as hard as you can, and if a coach is telling you something, listen. I mean, you're not going to be right. So the coaches know a whole lot more than you think you do yourself. So just trust them and take all the chances you can get because you never know when you could get an injury and that could be your season or whatever it may be. So take every chance you get and enjoy it.
This guy talked about being an old man to your right here, and it's making me feel real old. But
yeah, seriously.
Is he still got it?
Oh, he's still got it, depending on what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Competition-wise, who do you think's leading the way there? I guess in any kind of facet. If we just did some basic drills or something, he's still gonna maybe take it. What do you think?
He might beat me on the quick stuff, but I think farther distance, I think I got it.
Okay. Well said. Kane, anything you want to add to that?
He's got me in all categories now. Maybe golf. I may be able to get him in golf. That's about it.
All right, guys. Been a super fun show to have both of you here. Congratulations, Rawls, for being our latest Gateway Tire Male Athlete of the Week. Looking forward to having you back at some point, too, man.
I appreciate you. It was really fun.
Thank you. Kane, congratulations, man. Being a new dad, excited about your future, too, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having Rawls. It's a big honor.
Awesome. Everybody, this has been the WillCo Sports Power Hour. We had the Rawls Patterson and Kane Patterson join us. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Guys, Rawls, here's your plaque, by the way, too. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Again, the WillCo Sports Power Hour live here every Monday night at Tony's Eat and Drink. Thank you so much to our awesome guests here. We had BGA Volleyball in the house. Recognize Mallory Dobbs and Coach Tatiana Alvarez, or Mallory, our latest Stonegate Homes Heart of the Team Award winner. Congratulations to her and the BGA Volleyball team. We had Sienna Anderson of Summit High School, one of our in-class AAA cross-country runners in the house. And, of course, Rawls Patterson, our latest Gateway Tire Male Athlete of the Week. Again, Tim Thompson, Premier Realtors, Gateway Tire and Service, Toyota of Cool Springs, among our fantastic sponsors here for the WillCo Sports Power Hour. It is Monday night. We got a busy slate on the NFL side coming up here, too. So if you haven't had the opportunity, swing by Tony's. We got some great food here, great atmosphere for Monday Night Football as well. It's been a fun show. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and we'll take in some of this football actually as well. A quick shout-out to Mr. Tyrell Dotson, a Seattle Seahawks linebacker. He had a big stop, big sack, and he's leading that defense for the Seahawks, former Centennial High School grad when you think about former local guys in the NFL. Big plays from him. Be sure to check it out and support that guy. Well, it's been a good show. Again, this is on Facebook. Watch for it on Spotify. Watch for it on YouTube. I'm Charles Pulliam. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you next week.
Tim Thompson, Premier Realtors, a local realty company that has been in operation for more than 40 years. Tim has the personal motto of no excuses, just results, and that's the approach and superior service you'll receive at Tim Thompson, Premier Realtors. Allow Tim and his team the privilege of assisting you in accomplishing your real estate dreams. Check them out at timthompsonpremierrealtors.com.